This is Adam. Just wanted to write or just share a few thoughts in regards to the company culture of Solar Energy Plus. This is something I'm extremely passionate about, and I believe it's not just something that's important, but I believe it's a foundation that if it's not laid right, it doesn't matter what we build. And I truly believe in this. And this is primarily for those who are joining in a leadership capacity, because I do think that we play a significant part in shaping the culture and propelling a culture on our team. And we are happy. I'm excited with the growth that we've experienced in a short while, nothing short of the blessings of God. And we want to make sure that what we do and how we operate is right. Um, I do not believe that gray area exists. It's invented. There's right and there's wrong, and we want to make sure that we operate in what is right. And so I just want to share a few thoughts with you, and I do believe in operating in rules, such as there's got to be just manners of function, manners of approach, or just values. They operate as rules. That this is how we're going to conduct ourselves. And as a managing team is our the goal for everybody that joins the leadership capacity is that we add value, not just value to our clients, which is very important. People, we won't, if we don't have the right value for our clients, then they have other competitors that can fill the void or the business need that they might have. But in our case, as a leadership team, it's not just our clients that we have a value, but our team members. I'm so excited with the people that have chosen to join Solar Energy Plus. It's people of high caliber, and I say this from personal experience, having managed my own team for years, and I've had the privilege of hiring people, and I've also had the misfortune of having to let people go, and I've always seen people. They are not just numbers on a spreadsheet or on a profit and loss statement, but they are moms or dads. They are individuals. And one thing that is so prevalent in the corporate culture world, and there's excuses made for it, is that organization is more important than the individual. That is an accepted flaw. That's just now how things ought to be. You know, the individual is always going to take preeminence. The well-being of the individual needs to take preeminence, and I'll be talking about that a little bit more. A number of years ago, there was a book that came out, Good to Great. I know it was a bestseller, and the whole purpose of that book was get the right people on the bus and the wrong people off the bus, and where the organization, the well-being of the organization, was more important than any single individual. And excluding people that are toxic, that's the exception. But when you're dealing with individuals, they matter. They truly matter. And we have to understand that as the leadership team, our responsibility is to bring our team value, and we want people to be successful. We want them to uh, have a job, come to a place where they just feel valued, and it's not just something that is said, something that is a slogan of a company, but people can tell the difference when you're either trying to extract something from them or you're willing to invest into them. And our goal as a team, if we invest into people, then we want them to stay, and feeling appreciated is a big aspect of that. And we help people achieve success. Now, I've been in the corporate world, having managed a team that had the number one market share, and it's one of those things, when you have a successful team, you get the pats on the back, and there's a certain level of accomplishment and recognition that comes along with that. And if something turns, and it's the opposite response. And here's what we have to understand: the individuals that are a part of our team, everybody has a different definition of success. For example, there could be somebody who has decided, you know what, I need to make six figures a quarter. Okay, and their goal is that they're going to do whatever it takes so that they can achieve that. And so that could be their measure of success, and we want to help them be reach that success as much as that we can. But there might be somebody else that's part of our team, somebody that's the sales team, that their measure of success may be to supplement their income because they want to make sure that they get to enjoy just if their children have a school event, or they have a family vacation, or whatever it might be, they have certain hobbies that their level of success is, you know what, I want to close deal a month, 2 deals a month, and we can't hold that against them. That is their level of success, and that is where they find fulfillment. They're not going to find fulfillment in working 50, 60 hours a week and missing out on what they value in life. And what I'm getting at is every person has a different level of success, and we need to help them achieve what it is that they have purposed as their certain level of success. And how do we do that? One, we do coaching. And the thing about it is we want to establish and develop industry experts. Every sales member that joins Solar Energy Plus, we want to make sure that they're industry experts. They're not just salespeople. And by industry expert, it's the value that they bring to their client is not just panels on their roof or batteries, but it's providing a certain level of knowledge, of information that helps the client makes informed decisions. So that's where coaching comes in. So that's who we want to develop, and it doesn't happen by just chance, but it happens when we as a team leadership are willing to invest into them. The other thing is we hold each other accountable. Now, again, holding people accountable is, it's not fun for the person being held accountable, and it's especially not fun for the individual that has to hold people accountable. You know, there's a certain aspect of holding people accountable. What is the motivation behind it? Okay. Um, uh, Pretty much we have to do, whether the sales team is, they need to take care of their client, they have to do what they say they're going to do for their client, and in the absence of that, in the absence of follow through, then there's got to be a certain level of accountability. There's three parts of actually being accountable. What's gonna happen, when is it gonna happen, and how will I know as the management team, how will we know it happened? So those are the three things. If any one of those three pieces are missing, then you really don't have an accountability plan there. So what's gonna happen, by when is it gonna happen, and how well the team leader know what happened. So those are the three aspects of it. And I've learned, having done this for a number of years, building into people, developing people, and building a team, that there's a normal cycle that goes along with holding people accountable. One is the first response, it's resented. People don't like to be held accountable, but if you're consistent with it, if it's not a hit and miss, but it's something that you were consistent about it, then what happens is it becomes expected. It's not no longer surprise. It's no longer like it's no longer resented, but it's expected. And then after a period of time, after they see the results of being held accountable, most people will learn to appreciate it because they see the fruit of being held accountable. So that's what we do. But the motivation is about people just doing the work that they agreed to do, and we do build relationships based on value, not pressure. I'm just using a personal example. You know, a number of years ago, again, the team that I managed, we did pretty well. We were, my goal for my local office is if we could close 2.5 million a month in mortgages, we were profitable, and our team excelled that. We were closing 7, 8, $9 million a month, and it was just doing very well. And what happens when you develop people, then they become a target. And being in sales, what happens is recruiters are knocking on their door left and right, all that good stuff. And it's one of those things where there can be a hesitancy with that. Okay, if I develop people, then what happens when they leave? And when you add the right type of value, for example, we need to be able to perform. If the company is not performing, if we have not given set up the relationships, the platform, and we do not have the products to compete, then we shouldn't be upset when people leave. Okay, but when you build all that, and people because the grass seems greener somewhere else. And I've never pressured anybody from my team to ever stay with me. I had the same conversation with them. It's like I'll give them my honest opinion about the competitor of where they're going, and then I'll always finish it with the same thing. But you've got to do what you feel is best for you and your family, and I won't hold it against you. The door will be open. There was a situation that had happened a number of years ago where I had a successful team. I managed 8 people. Um, Recruiters are just offering sign-on bonuses, 30,000, 40,000, just sign-on bonuses and different bonuses for the team. And you had somebody leave, and it took half my team with them. And but because we had built so much value, it was just within months, 4 people left, and within months, 3 of them came back, because it was the platform. So we want to develop people. We want to add value. One thing, um, in fact, so that was about the individual. Now let's talk about the sales culture. This is a culture that we want to establish with Solar Energy Plus, and Solar Energy Commercial. But there are 2 ways to compete when we're competing against other solar companies. You can compete by tearing down the competitor, or you can compete with distinctions. Okay, if we do our job right as a leadership team, then our sales team should be able to compete with distinctions. What is it that we can offer that sets us apart from the competitor? What value do we have? And there should be enough distinction, whether it's financing options, which we're doing all that we can to develop the full spectrum of options for our clients. And so there is the thing about creating a distinction for our clients, but also for our team. Okay, why is it that they would want to continue working with Solar Energy Plus when there's other options? And I do think that we do have a platform and our goal is to continue to grow it, but that we have all the products that we have, that we can perform, and we just have the platform that is complete. Whereas, anyways, I don't want to get into that, but so we need to create that distinction. The other thing is, and this is just part of our culture, there are 2 ways to be profitable. And we've making, one way that a company can be profitable is to just maximize the profit on any individual transaction. How much can we make on one transaction, and what's the most that we can charge, and that's how a lot of people compete, and the only way they lower that is because they feel that they're going to lose the business. But there's another way to compete, and that is through volume. Okay, every sale should set you up for the next sale. And our hope and our culture here is not that we develop a sales team that's trying to you know get the most out of every single deal, but our goal is volume. And I want you as a management team, as a leadership team, to think that way. Our goal is volume. Our goal is to offer value to our clients by, it's my hope that everybody on the team, on the sales team, tries to stay within $1 in their commission per kilowatt hours, and or less than that. Just because you can charge uh, $2 or $1.50, whatever it is. And we want to add value, and go for volume. We want satisfied clients, and we also understand that our sales team needs to value their time. They do not want to be at the bottom of of uh, of price, because they're not going to feel sufficiently rewarded. So there is a good balance between, okay, this is um, I am satisfied with the commission on these transactions. It's allows me to make a very comfortable sale without gouging our clients, and without feeling like our time was not valued. So there is a cost, but there is a balance there. But our goal is to go for volume over cost. Now, there's another role of business, and it starts with the management team. Is we have to recognize there are three parts to the team. There's the individual, there's the client, and then there's the company. Okay, the individual, the client, and the company. And the mistake that we can do sometimes is to put, and I mentioned at the very beginning, to put the corporation, the well-being of the corporation over the individual and over the client. Okay. Um, we need to be healthy as a corporation. We have to be, if not, we're not going to be here for a very long time. But there are three parts to it. We have the sales agent, and the reality, the sales agent needs to, um, they need to, they need to do, they need to take care of themselves. They have to be taken care of. Okay, the client has to be taken care of, and the corporation, the company, has to be taken care of. And I'm talking on the sales side, okay? When we're actually making a sales transaction, anytime you put one entity over another, it could lead to trouble. So, for example, if a sales agent decides, you know what, my number one motivation is my well-being. I don't care about the client and I don't care about the company. Well, um, that's not good. They're going to be gouging the client and not taking care of the company. So that's not a good thing. If the motivation is just the client, where okay, I'm going to get this sale even if I've got to cut my commission to practically nothing, and there's no profit for the company. Well, again, that there's not a balance there. So you put the client over the company and over the client. I'm sorry, over the sales agent. There's an imbalance. Okay, the client's going to be happy, but then the sales agent's going to feel like, wow, this wasn't worth my time, and the company's like, okay, we put a lot of resources, and this one wasn't profitable. So there's three parts to it, and the general rule, the rule that needs to be applied in every deal is there are three entities, and you take care of the client without exception. You take care of the sales agent without exception, and you take care of the company without exception. When you do that, when you take care of all three parts, then there's then that's a right way to do it. That's how you eliminate gray areas, by operating in rules. So you could ask me more about this if you have any questions about that. The other thing, and this is part of the management team and leadership team, is we need to avoid echo chambers. And what happens is, and I've seen it plays itself out so much, is we bounce ideas off of each other, and before we know it, we accept it as rules and as facts. And in reality, is we got to go to the source. Our sales team, when they come with a question from us, did we go to the source? Did we give them concrete evidence? Did we get it from the guides? Did we give them data that is factual, 100% factual? What happens so much is, what will happen, one person will talk to another person, and it's like they'll start, yeah, they'll agree and all that stuff. And so you avoid echo chambers. I saw this quite fascinatingly, and I've seen it played out a number of times, where in sales, the general rule is you hire people that have experience in it, right? A few years ago, um, I've been in the mortgage industry for 22 plus years, and there was an individual that was hired, never had closed not one transaction in his life. Within months, he was the number one sales agent, because he was operating outside of an echo chamber. He was that feed. He was just uh, he came into this with a brand new look. There was another, just recently, I was part of another team where the rule was to hire people that did not have experience, so that they had a fresh look. And there's so much danger in echo chambers. So that's one thing. As a management team, as a leadership team, we need a fresh look. We need to think outside the box. We need to be able to think what can be, and if not, okay, how do we make it happen? Okay, if if it's not out there, it probably exists, but echo chambers are like those blinders that keep us from seeing outside the box. The other thing is we need clear communication. There needs to be absolute clear communication. I heard the CEO of a company one time, he said, if you have to massage the message, you've already messed up. If you've got to massage the message, you've already messed up. There's got to be clear communication. Now, um, not motivated by getting one's way or pride or anything like that, but it's pretty much you deliver the message that is factual. Okay. The other thing that's not on my notes, but I do remember having this conversation with an individual. The same thing. He was a very, and I'm talking extremely successful leader, manager. He oversaw. I want to say he was the manager over 17 states in California. Just a great guy, and there was a situation that had happened where sometimes we can get passionate about our job, okay, and it's one of those things. I was passionate, and I was holding management accountable, and so I had a meeting with them. I met with them, and the first thing I did, because by then I'd calmed down, I was like, I apologize, and he stopped me from apologizing, and he says, if you are doing if you're being passionate to take care of the client and of the company, and it's not selfish motivation, then you have no reason to make to apologize about it, and that's the reality of it. We as a leadership team cannot be making excuses. We cannot be making excuses. We need to fix problems. So if there's somebody who's having an issue on a deal, and they happen, it's going to happen periodically. If it's part of our culture, there's something that majorly needs to be fixed. If it's something that 1 out of 10 deals, it's just something is being difficult, then things pop up. Obviously, things pop up, but we cannot make excuses for things that we need to fix. So, anyways, um, this is about creating, again, the team where we take responsibility to create the culture, the values that have become the foundation of Solar Energy Plus. Anyways, we'll talk about this more. This is something that's just got to be ingrained into the fabric of Solar Energy Plus. All right, thanks. We'll talk later.